I just want to be happy. But what if I were to tell you that everything that you know about happiness is a lie? For my entire adolescence, I have lived with the dream of reaching true happiness, a time when I would never feel out of balance or upset, and my entire life would look like those aesthetic van life TikToks.
I am absolutely sick of shorts, dude.
I just turned 18 and I'm starting to understand it. A few days ago, when I was really not feeling too great, I was trying to think of the reason why I kept falling in and out of being happy and sad. I was in very deep thought until something just clicked. And then I had a realization that drove me to read a bunch of articles, and I am not disappointed for what I found. The happiness paradox. I'm surprised that this isn't talked about more. Paraphrasing this Forbes article a little bit, it says that a common misconception about happiness is that you can achieve it, like climbing a mountain and planting a happiness flag at the peak. But the thing is, happiness isn't something that you can accomplish as an end game. It doesn't work like that. But unfortunately, this is a common thought that so many people today live with. So in result of that, they keep on pushing themselves towards that goal that will ultimately grant them happiness. But it never does. This is all far better said in this quote from Viktor Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning. And considering the fact that Viktor Frankl witnessed and survived a life inside of Nazi Germany's concentration camps, I'm pretty sure his words carry a lot of weight.
Don't aim at success. The more you aim at it and make it a target, the more you're gonna miss it. For success, like happiness, cannot be pursued. It must ensue, and it only does so as the unintended side effect of one's dedication to a cause greater than oneself, or as a byproduct of one's surrender to a person other than oneself. Happiness must happen, and the same holds for success. You have to let it happen by not caring about it. I want you to listen to what your conscience commands you to do, and go on to carry it out to the best of your knowledge. Then you will live to see in the long run. In the long run, I say, success will follow you precisely because you had forgotten to think of it.
I'm sorry, I am genetically bad at voiceovers. Happiness just happens. It gets far more difficult to be happy when you're focusing on achieving it, if that makes any sense. The thing is, you shouldn't focus on becoming happy, but don't cancel your gym memberships yet. It's still important to be healthy. Just like Viktor Frankl says, how it's the unintended side effect of one's dedication to a cause greater than oneself. Whether you're trying to achieve your happiness by working 12 hours a day, trying to become rich, or swiping constantly on dating apps looking for the love of your life, they keep unmatching me. Remember, happiness is an emotion. It comes and goes. It's not a permanent feeling. Whether you achieve those things or not, it won't result in happiness. You have to let it happen by not caring about it. Easier said than done, I know. But there is lots of little things that you can do to help with this. So instead of channeling your attention and care on achieving happiness, channel it anywhere else. Like going for a run, cleaning your place up. I should do that. Quite literally, just anything that will clear your mind from thinking about achieving happiness. FYI, it will probably take practice. In fact, it will take practice. Viktor Frankl quite literally says, with time, I say, with time. The more you think about achieving happiness, the more you think about how unhappy you are, the more that the happiness paradox captures you. And also, I'm kind of telling myself this one, but remember, you are a human being. It is completely normal to feel sad sometimes. You just simply can't be feeling okay all of the time. Remember, I am not your therapist. I am not a therapist, and I don't know your life. If you DM me on Instagram asking for life advice, I will probably give you some real shit advice, like investing in crypto. Looking around us, it's pretty obvious that we all have our misconceptions of what life should look like. If my life isn't exciting and joyful, then I am not living. But the truth about that statement is, life isn't supposed to be exciting and joyful. If that's how you're living your life, then I hate to break it to you, but you are not living. You are not a human being. You are fake. Most of your life should be boring, by the way. Just don't beat yourself up if your day isn't like a Mr. Beast shoot, alright? I am recording this in a closet. Something else that I want to talk about in this video is alone. There are two types of being alone. The first one is seeking to be alone. You know when you have a bunch of people over and you're having a great time for like an hour, but your social battery begins to run out and you kind of just want to be left alone for a little bit? kind of recharge. That's what it means to seek being alone. But the other one is feeling alone, when you're deep in thoughts and kind of feeling sad. Well, this is very well put together in, of all places, a SpongeBob episode. Bear with me here, okay? It's a good episode. In the SpongeBob episode SB-129, Squidward could not stand being around SpongeBob and Patrick. He just found them so incredibly unbearable to be around. He'd rather play his clarinet, so that led him to seek a place to be alone. And in the case of this episode, he snuck into the Krusty Krab as it was closed. Don't ask me how, but he found himself inside of the freezer. He ends up locking himself in, and he completely freezes into ice for 2,000 years. Then, remarkably, he just pulls a Captain America and wakes up. SpongeBot tells him that he's gone to the future, and well, to summarize all of this, SpongeBot directs him to the time machine. Squidward goes to the time machine, breaks it, and ends up going to a time when nothing has ever existed. But that's alright with Squidward, because he wanted to be alone, and you can't really get more alone than being in nothingness. So Squidward lays down on nothing. He is enjoying it. He's all alone with nothing to bother him except for his thoughts. He starts to think about how alone he really is, and he begins to think about it more and more, and the more he thinks about it, the more it weighs on him, and eventually he just begins to spiral, freaking out.
Obviously, it's a kid show, so he eventually snaps out of it.
Back with SpongeBob and Patrick, and he's no longer alone. Happy ending. But the biggest thing that we should observe in this story is Squidward's mindset. If he didn't care about how alone he was, it wouldn't have led him to spiral. But he started to think about it, and the more he thought about it, the more it weighed on him, which in a lot of cases we do the same thing. We go on to seek something, letting our mind wander, and as we're seeking it, we start thinking in another perspective. In the case of Squidward, how alone he was, and that basically opens the door, leading him to spiral. To put it simply, life is all about perspective and how you think of things, and I truly believe practicing what Viktor Frankl said earlier will transform your life for the better.
Happiness must happen, and the same holds for success. You have to let it happen by not caring about it.
There's no real key to happiness, but understanding that is so incredibly powerful. It's very easy to fall into this entire paradox, and well, I'm not completely sure where this entire thing stems from. I think a solid guess could be movies, because plots are typically structured in a way where everything starts in balance and all the pillars are intact, but in order to make an interesting movie, they remove one of the pillars, making everything go out of balance. So the protagonist or whatever has to scramble around and try to fix the pillar or whatever and make everything go back in balance and restore happiness, which possibly could just be a belief that's just being embedded into our minds as we're growing up, but that's probably not. I'm speaking complete nonsense. It's just something that I noticed recording this video. I know this video won't appeal to everyone, but if it helped someone who is struggling with this, then it did its job. And you can shut up. I see you in the comments. Oh, this video makes no sense. Well, I don't relate. Shut up. Shut the up. Anyways, if you want to revert everything I said in this video, go ahead and watch this video about space and how f***ing scary and worthless everything is. Go watch this video right here about space. It's a really thoughtful, scary video. Yeah. Road to 100K. Yeah.